friend Mark Penny is going to do some training tonight, and he and I were going over a little bit of that earlier. And I tell you what, you might want to grab a pen and paper because it's really going to be good. One of the things that I do, I still train people. I've trained a lot of people through the decades. But one thing I know is that when you hear good details and you don't adhere to them, you can't expect good success. So if you're going to hear some good details, take notes, really let it settle into your thinking, begin to apply them, and you begin to have some good success. So you're about to hear one of the best there is in the industry. Mark is extremely dedicated to us and to this business, and I just applaud his professionalism.
So this is our IML update and training call.
Quite successful, building $100 million facilities around the world, but also in direct sales and now in the continual launch of iMarketsLive. And he's not only an extremely successful man, but he's also a really caring, dedicated leader and a good friend of mine. And I'd like to just turn it over to Mark Penny. Mark, take it away, brother.
Hey, thanks for that great introduction, Roger. A portion of our training, and that's building a business. And how are you going to build your affiliate business? Well, there's many ways to do it out there. You know, you can build it by buying leads. There's cold markets. There's advertising. There's a bunch of different ways to do it. And I'll tell you, we're going to train on every single one of those ways. But what we definitely are going to do at this point is train on probably the easiest and fastest way to make money right out of the gate, and that's your warm and common market. And when I say your warm market, you know, typically in the past I've always said it's your common market. You know, it's not necessarily your brother, your sister, your uncle, your aunt. Well, in this business, maybe it is, because why not, right? It doesn't take that much to just jump in, follow the system, and have the trades work for you. So, you know, I would say put everyone under the sun under that warm market and common market. But also, I've always found it interesting and always had a lot better results with the common market. And what do I mean by that? I mean, what about your chiropractor, your dentist, your doctor? Maybe not people that come over to your house for Christmas, but people that are definitely, you're a customer of them at the end of the day, so why shouldn't they be a customer of you? And, you know, I had a mentor a long time ago that said to me one time, he goes, you know what about your dentist? Have you talked to your dentist yet? I go, yeah, I talked to him. He doesn't want to do any business with me. And he said that he tries to keep his business and his and outside business, his customers or patients and outside business separate. He goes, well, heck with that. You need to get a new dentist because you're paying that guy. You know, well, you know, anyway, I mean, that's a little extreme. I'm not going to change dentists to go recruit somebody. Well, maybe I would, but you don't have to. But at the same time, you know, one of the things that I learned very early on in network marketing was building a list. And I know that's the L word to a lot of people who have previous experience in it, but I want you to understand what's behind having a list because it's important. There's some psychology behind it. If you have a list of 2 people and one person says no, and obviously if you have a list of 2 people, it can be in your head. You don't need to write down 2 people. You can remember 2 people. And one person says no, what happens? Now you're getting desperate for that second person because you're not going to have anybody if he says no or she says no. Now if you have a list of 20 people and 5 of them say no, but you still have another 15 people to talk to. Well, that's pretty comforting, you know, because really this entire business, what it's about is collecting no's. How many no's can you get? Whoever on this phone gets the most no's this week will make the most money this week because every single one of those no's, if you're following the process that we're about to train you on, you know what, every single one of those no's gets you that much closer to a yes. And it's not a big deal if they say no. Don't pressure them. Don't push them into it. We don't have to do that with this business. We have the trading to make money. But at the same time, you know, a no just gets you that much closer. So you want to build a list. The psychology of a list is to have names down. You may not call them all. That's fine. But the psychology of having a list will make you better at building your affiliate team. If you have a list of 100 people, now you're really strong. There's probably no way you'll get through calling all 100 in the next month, the next 2 months, the next 5 months. Maybe within a year you could call them all. But at the end of the day, you want to build the list and you don't want to prejudge people. You want to make it as big as you can. I challenge everyone on this phone to put a list of 100 people together. If you can't get a list of 100 people together, use a memory jogger. Figure out that piece of it. And your memory jogger will be things like, who do you know that's a doctor? Who do you know that's a dentist? Who do you know that's a lawyer? Because what you can do is just go grab the yellow pages or pop the yellow pages online up and start looking through the A's. How many jobs are in there for A's, like automobile mechanic, auto sales, right? Then you go to B, who do you know that is a basketball player? I don't know. I mean, heck, it could be a professional athlete then. You get into that, right? And then the C's, who do you know that cuts hair? If you go through the yellow pages, you can get these memory joggers going and start thinking through your common market. Another thing that I do is I think, who are all the people I pay bills to or pay something to? So if I look at, I get my hair cut, well, that lady that I get my hair cut with, I pay her $50 for a haircut. And so shoot, I should talk to her and talk to her a little bit about the business. And we're going to show you how to do that right now. And so, it's not as though we don't know anybody, because we all know a lot of people. It's just, do we have the belief, do we have the ability to go talk to them? And I'll tell you, just writing the names down, putting phone numbers next to them. So how your list needs to look is you're going to put names and phone numbers down on the list. That's how it's going to start. Then the next piece is you're not going to prejudge anybody. You might think that Joe over there has $10 million. He doesn't need any more money. That's just what Joe projects. You never know what Joe's real bank account looks like. You never know. Joe might have expenses that are $10 million in one. When you look at that, you never know what's going on with Joe. And one thing I know about people who have money, a lot of the time they always want to make a little bit more, So don't prejudge anybody, but do qualify people, right? So what we do is we call it the 4 checkers. And the 4 different things you want to check out on people and kind of understand as you rank them. Because you want to rank your A, B, and C players and understand, what's going on with them and put them in certain categories. So the first thing would be, the 4 checks would be the best possible player. The first thing is, does the person have a desire to build a business and make money? Is this someone who's a go-getter, right? Do they have that desire? Do they have that work ethic to be able to go out there and really build it? So that's kind of one thing you're looking for. Does the person have any time? Everyone has time, but I'll tell you, there are certainly some people who work 20 hours a day and aren't giving that dream up, and that's what they're doing. You know what, maybe they're a 3-checker, right? So you don't put time on there necessarily. There's nothing wrong, though, with selling them a silver package. Thirdly, do they have contacts? A lot of busy people have contacts. So, maybe they don't have time, but they have some contacts. And you can funnel them into our system. It takes less than 2 minutes to invite someone to a webinar, and then we can follow up with them and help them from that side, too. And then the 4th piece is, do they have money, right? If you're going to use our business, at least have $95 to bronze package. But really, if we're talking about it, you need about $3,000 to start this. I mean, if you look at it from that side, you need $1,000 to get a gold package and $2,000 to put into your trading account at a minimum. So, they should have a little bit of money and be able to want to make money and then have some time and have contacts. So, that's part of the thing here. And really, as we're going to call people, right, those big numbers are for a reason. Maybe you have some goals to bring 2 or 3 people in this month. Well, let's say you want to bring 2 people in this month. Okay, so if you're going to do that, you need to actually have 4 people say that they'll look at a webinar, talk to a person on the phone, do a 3-way call. You need to have 4 prospects say yes to that. That means you actually have to contact 8 people. So to get 2 people in, you need to contact at least 8 people. If you need to contact 8 people, that means you have 16 people on your list, right? Because half of them won't answer just because they won't be home or whatever else will happen. So then you get a hold of actually 8 people. 4 will say they'll look at it and actually look at it. And then 2 will say yes. And you know what, we can get a lot higher percentage than that, but if you go by those numbers for right now, you'll be in good shape and hit your goals. So that's why a lot of the time you want to have a list of 100 people, right? That'll get you a good 10, 20 people into the business. So from that side then, what do you say? And where do you invite them? It's what we've got here, and what I'm going to bring up on the screen is a rough draft of contacting and inviting. So with that, what we're going to do is we're going to look at the principles of contacting and inviting first, okay? So with that, what ends up happening is as you're going to talk to somebody, there's a few things, and these are key principles. Right? The principles of contacting and inviting happen in every single situation that you may want to tell someone about the business. Number 1, you want to have a sense of urgency. You want to have you feel that you're busy. They need to have that feeling, right? So you need to have a sense of urgency about you, and they need to see that sense of urgency, okay? The second piece of that is adding value. There needs to be enough value that when, they'll do the call to action. right? You're going to do a call to action with them, and that call to action is going to be, go watch a webinar or get on this conference call, this opportunity call, or be at a virtual grand opening. And you know what? When you look at that, adding value, it can't be so outlandish they're not going to believe it. If I said, hey, Bob, I'm making $100,000 a month, and Bob knows that, I'm living in my car, well, Bob's not going to believe I'm making $100,000 a month. That's just outlandish, right? I mean, and plus, if I'm not making $100,000 a month, I shouldn't be lying about it anyway. But if I say I'm working with people who are making $100,000 a month, a lot of people won't believe that. So you got to kind of understand, what's going on with the person across the phone, and make sure that the amount of value is believable. And we'll kind of talk through the value. The value doesn't have to just be monetary as well. With our business, and what we'll talk about here in a second, adding value is, hey, we're working with one of the top traders on Wall Street. I mean, that's value right there, guys. And then we can do it in just 2 minutes a day. That's value as well. So, when you put all that together, there's different values to different people, and it usually hits those 4 checkers that they got, right? If they have time but they want more time, there's different things. We find out what their why is, and we go from there. So the takeaway, that's another principle that you want to use in every inviting. So you've got to have a sense of urgency, make sure you're adding value, then the takeaway. Oh, boy, I don't know how many times I've been duped on the takeaway, Usually it's if someone takes something away from me, what do I want to do? I want it more. Every human being wants it more when you take it away. And I don't know, I guess that started probably when I was really little. I know with my kids it works too. It's so funny, When you take it away, you say, oh, well, no, that's okay. I'll have one of the other girls do that chore. They're so good at it anyway, Oh, no, Dad, I'll do it. It's in our human nature for some reason. When someone takes away, we want it more. It probably goes back to when my sister used to take a toy away from me or something. But anyway, so it's definitely very important to do a takeaway. And that takeaway will just further solidify the person's interest in following through this. And now the last piece is the call to action. And to be honest with you, this entire process is all coming down to, will they do the call to action? And what we want to do is make sure they're going to follow through and do the call to action. Some of that ends up being with a call to action. Can you watch a webinar about making a high six-figure income in just 2 minutes a day here in the next 24 hours? You can do that, can't you, Bob? Well, Bob should say yes. So make sure you have an end date and time for them to do it. If it's 6 p.m. Pacific right now, then tomorrow, 6 p.m. Pacific, they should be done. You said 24 hours. And to even further solidify that, make sure you have a specific time to follow up. Well, listen, Bob, I'm going to call you tomorrow at 6 p.m. Pacific just to follow up, answer any questions you might have, and talk about next steps. So I will talk to you tomorrow. And, so these are important things. Be specific about the times, what you want them to do. And if we've done the principles right, you'll get the perfect word out of them, which is yes, I will do that. If you hear anything but yes, when you give them a call to action, say, hey, Bob, can you go and watch this? You can, for 6 figures, you can watch this webinar in the next 24 hours, can't you? And if Bob says, well, maybe I can, I'll try to, or I'll do my best, guess what? Bob is not going to do it. That's a no. He's just trying to be nice to you, and he feels like instead of just telling you, no, I'm not really interested right now, Mark, he just thinks that's an easier way out because he's too uncomfortable just to say no. And so, these are important principles. They're going to help you increase the numbers that I talked about. You can do these to the best of your ability and make $1 million a month, and guess what? You'll probably be batting 3 out of 10. So just understand that means there's 7 no's for every 3 yeses, right, or somewhere around that ratio. But you think about it, hey, in baseball, if you hit 300, you're a Hall of Famer. You do that for your entire career. So, this industry's kind of the same, and you want to collect those no's as well. Don't be afraid of them. No's are pretty simple. Just call and go after the work here. Now, there's a few techniques that everyone should understand as well, and these techniques are important on contacting and inviting. You want to make sure you have a lot of energy in your voice. Even if you have to fake it. Maybe you had a horrible day and you're tired. Take 15 minutes, listen to AC/DC Thunderstruck, and get yourself fired up. I just did it 15 minutes ago for this call because you got to have energy. You want to take your segments of your day. I was doing a lot of trainings today online. They kind of wear me out a little bit mentally. But at the end of the day, I'm looking and I'm like, dang, I got this great group of people I'm going to talk to. Let's get fired up. And so, I do little techniques to get myself fired up. But you want to do the same thing when you're contacting and inviting people. Because when you look at it, you want to, if you have a, hey, how's it going, Roger? You know, if you sound like Eeyore, they're not going to go do the thing. You know, it's just not going to work. They're not going to look at your opportunity. But if you have a lot of energy in your voice and you're sounding like you're strong, you're ready to go, hey, they are going to go after it. A little trick, too, that I've used in the past is stand up and walk around if you need to, you know, while you're talking. For some reason, when you stand up and you move, dang, your voice gets more energy in it. And it's amazing how that happens. Sometimes when I do calls, like the opportunity call on Mondays, I'll point my laptop over the living room. I got my Bluetooth on, and I'm talking as I walk. You know, it's all good. That's, you know, it's just a little technique to use to get energy in your voice. So then the second technique is to never stay on the phone really for more than 2 minutes. If you're on that phone for 5-6 minutes on an initial contacting, inviting piece, you're getting yourself in trouble. I have a saying in network marketing that words are like holes in a boat. The more you use, the more you will sink. There's a certain amount you need, okay? There is a definite certain amount you need to use, and that's why we're putting the script together today so you guys can kind of look at it, digest it. You can make it your own to some extent, right? I'm fine with that. Please do. But at the same time, do not make it 5, 6, 7 minutes long because you will tell people enough to say no, but never enough to say yes. So and that segues into the next one. They're going to be asking you questions. Maybe they'll ask you something like, well, Mark, what's this all about? You know what, the best answer for most of the people on this line, because you guys are brand new, is, hey, look, I'm brand new into this opportunity, and what I would like for you to do is hear it exactly how I did from the guy I heard it from, the top income earner in the company. So why don't you jump on this webinar and take a look at it? And what I can do is I'll put him on the phone with you, and he can answer some of your questions for you. You know what I mean? Or talk about your upline to be able to do that with, right? So it's pretty important to be able to not answer questions, because you can get yourself going down that path where now the call is definitely going to be more than 2 minutes long, and now you're definitely saying enough for them to say no, but not enough for them to say yes. We want them to see the opportunity in the best light possible. If they still say no, that's fine. Move on. We've got a list of 100 people, hopefully, right? That's just a no. What's that no mean? We're that much closer to the next yes, right? So it's fine. But at the same time, if we screw up, then that's something that's under our control. If we don't do this properly, then what the people are going to see isn't the opportunity in the best light. And what will happen is our ratio will go down to maybe 1 out of 10 instead of 3 out of 10, right? And we want to be in that Hall of Fame. We want to be able to do that. And then another little side piece is use their name as often as possible. You know, people love to hear their name. It just works well, you know, and the more often you use their name, it doesn't feel as much like a script that you're using, things along those lines, and, you know, that's a good thing there. And definitely make sure that you're not sounding like you're reading a script. That's another piece I should put on here. You know, rehearse it a bit. You know, talk to yourself and be good with it, because you don't want to sound like you're using a script. If you sound like you're reading off a script, the most fake thing on the face of the earth, then people, you know, people will not respond to that in a way that you will be able to feel as though, or they won't respond in a way that they feel as though they'll need to see the opportunity. Because like, look, the guy was just reading a script. So with that, what I want to do is I'm going to buzz through this script really quickly, and then Roger and I are going to do a little quick role play. I always recommend that you talk to people on the phone, right? Because if you go over to their house and talk to them or something like that, it's not easy to get out of that situation in 2 minutes. So, you know, a lot of the time, if I see somebody, I say, wait, you know, hey, Bob, is this still your number that I have in my cell phone? Okay, great. Hey, I'm super busy. I'm going to call you tonight. Something incredible's happened. Are you available at 6? All right, I'll call you then. You know, I just have more control if I'm on the phone, and so I'm always on the phone when I'm doing this type of inviting and contacting. Now, this whole piece here, too, is what we call a direct inviting script. And so how this is going to roll out, I'm just going to go through it quick, and this is how it is, and then Roger and I will do a little role play here. So, hello, Roger. This is Mark. You know, I don't have a lot of time to talk, but do you have a quick 2 minutes to talk? So hopefully then Roger would say yes at that point. Anything but a yes, we have to do a little finagling, right? Well, Roger, it's just 2 minutes. You know, this is very important. I don't have a lot of time either, just 2 minutes. and you want to get a yes out of him and then move on to the next piece. So then, well, Roger, something absolutely incredible has happened. I'm working with one of the most successful traders on Wall Street who actually does the trading for us. He sends out a signal that automatically trades. The process just takes 2 minutes a day. It's incredible. If we could show you a way to make it 6 figures in just 2 minutes a day, you'd want to know about it, wouldn't you? Well, at that point, I've added value at that paragraph, right? That's really what we're doing at that point. So at that point, hopefully Roger says yes. If not, we'll have to work through that objection, and I don't know who would say no to that piece, but it's possible, I guess. Maybe they just want to get off the phone or having a bad day or something like that. That's fine. So then the next piece then is, Roger, it's not for everybody. Right, we've got a qualification process that people have to go through. The first step is you need to watch this webinar about the opportunity for a 6-figure income in just 2 minutes a day. And you could watch that webinar here in the next 24 hours, couldn't you? And, you can put conference call in there, webinar. Maybe you have a one-on-one scheduled at some point with your upline. It's all good. You can pop different things in there for that. Then obviously we want Roger to say yes to that as well. Say, great, grab a pen and paper, and I'll write this down, Roger. Go to www.sixfigureswebinar.com. Obviously, you can say, be on this opportunity call. I'll text you the info right now. It's always good, too. And watch the full webinar. Take notes, write down any questions and you might have. And what I'll do is I'll call you at 6 p.m. tomorrow sharp. Be sure you watch the webinar so we have something good to talk about, all right? Now, I'll talk to you tomorrow at 6. All right, take care, Roger. Bye. So I get off the phone. Now, here's one of the things, though, that I can say. 24 hours is absolutely the latest I would ever let anybody string me out. Most of the time, what I'm going to try to do on this whole deal is get them to do it tonight. Look, Roger, do you have an hour this evening? If they have an hour this evening, then get them on there this evening, right? So it's important. When you compress the time frames, you have more success. So the faster you have them watch the webinar, the better it is. And then the closer you are to the time that they have watched the webinar that you follow up with them, the better it is. So, and you always want to stay in control. You never want to have them call you. You always want to call them. You always want to have an appointment. The appointment needs to be a time that works for you, not them. So that makes you in control through this whole process. And with that, you ready to roll, Roger?
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. So what Roger and I are going to do is just a quick little piece of contacting and inviting and role play. Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hey, Roger, this is Mark Pinney. I don't have a lot of time to talk. Do you have a quick 2 minutes?
Heck yeah, man. What's up?
All right, great. Well, Roger, something amazing has happened to me, man. I've known you for a while, and, I got to tell you something. I am working with one of the most successful traders on Wall Street right now who actually does the trading for us, right? He sends out a signal that automatically trades. The process just takes like 2 minutes a day. I can't believe it when I found this thing, and it's just booming for us. If we could show you a way to make 6 figures in 2 minutes a day, you'd want to know about that, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Well, but Roger, I want to just say something quick. It's not for everybody, okay? And that's why, we have a bit of a qualification process. I wasn't so sure that I was going to get through that process. But at the end of the day, the first step in that process is for you to take a little look at a webinar that's out online on this opportunity, and you get some information on it. For 6-figure income, right? You can probably take a look at that in the next 24 hours, couldn't you? Get some info?
Yeah. I'm just curious how I would do it in 2 minutes.
No, exactly. It's all explained on the webinar, Roger. It's it's all right there. Like I said, I don't have a ton of time, so to explain it right now.
Is any money in this? Is there any money in this, Mark?
There is a ton of money in this, Roger. I can tell you. These guys are making high 6 figures monthly themselves, and they're helping everyone else out there that's in a part of it making big time money as well. So it's exciting. So do this for me. Do this for me quick. Grab a pen and paper. Let me give you the website, okay?
Okay. Yep.
All right. It's www.sixfigureswebinar.com. So www.sixfigures and webinar, webinar.com. watch that full webinar, take down any notes, write down any questions you might have. What I'll do is I'll call you tomorrow at the same time at 6:30 Pacific. You're out there on the East Coast, so 9:30 your time sharp, all right? Just make sure you watch the webinar. We'll have something to talk about. They'll explain how this thing works in 2 minutes on that webinar.
How long is the webinar, Mark?
It's about 20 minutes long, so 20 minutes of your time there. That'll be the most time you ever spend on it.
Yep.
All right?
Good.
All right, great. All right, Roger, I'll talk to you tomorrow, and have a good evening, man.
Oh, thank you, Mark. Appreciate it, man.
So that's it. Everyone, that's it's simple stuff. Roger threw a couple of questions at me, and you can use those answers. They're not really huge answers. Obviously, we've got people making money. So what I'm calling you. And then the next thing is, what was the other question, Roger? How long is the webinar?
Yeah.
Right, that was one. 20 minutes is always good. Usually our webinars are 20 to 30 minutes long, so I just say 20 minutes. That's always a good answer for that. So as we go through this, if you guys think of objections or questions that you have, email them to me at penny_mark@hotmail.com. And what I'm going to do is, something I just thought of as Roger put those out there, was I'll put together an objections list for us and what are the right answers for those objections. So really this is an example, though, for everyone. Right? You need to make this your own. You need to be able to understand the principles. That's more important than these words by far and away. You can tweak this. You can make it more of what you feel comfortable saying. If you think it's too salesy or schmaltzy or whatever, feel free to tweak it. And send it over to me. I'd be happy to help you with it. You want to make it your own so it doesn't sound like a script. But those principles, having a sense of urgency, making sure you've added value to this opportunity and to what they're going to look at, to be sure that you do the takeaway. Holy smokes, don't forget the takeaway. And then that call to action with specific time frames and specific follow-ups. See, now I've got an opportunity where I don't have to guess if it's okay to follow up with Roger tomorrow. And when I follow up with Roger tomorrow at 9:30 his time, if he doesn't answer, I'm going to leave a message, say, oh, Roger, I thought you were a man of your word. It's 9:30, and maybe I don't do this the first time if Roger's my buddy, but I'm going to say, hey, Roger, we had an appointment at 9:30. Hope you're okay. Hope you didn't get hit by a car or something, man. Give me a ring as soon as you get this call so we can talk about that opportunity. And what I'll say in that as well is, look, I'll call you tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. Maybe something happened this evening. I hope you're okay. So I give myself permission to call again. And I'll do that once or twice, and then, it is what it is. You can just move on. I got a list of 100 people, and that's part of the reason to have a list. So with that, I'm going to unmute the line quickly here. What I'd like to do is hear any feedback from any of the leaders on the call.
That was outstanding.
Maybe I just muted them. All right, well, go ahead, guys. Any leaders on the call, please feel free to speak up. I thought I heard Nathan there.
That was outstanding. Great call to go over one of the probably 2 or 3 just fundamental invite scripts or invite sort of technique and psychology behind the technique, of the takeaway, the sense of urgency, whole ball of wax. When we get a chance, I'd love to go over, maybe hear that, like you take it away from someone. I think that's just as important as the invite itself, because actually a person, sometimes people will, without realizing it, they'll fish around and try to see if this thing really is of value. And they might not realize that until you say, oh, I tell you what, I really don't have time. I understand I'll tell you what, I'll call you back maybe in a couple of months, see if you have time, then it's like, wow, this dude doesn't need me. And it just kind of snaps them back to reality, or it snaps them to reality, therefore, not back, but to reality. And it's like, well, gee whiz, am I telling my longtime friend that I don't have 20 minutes to watch a webinar to learn how to make 6 figures? I could still watch the last 10 minutes of Friends or something. Okay? So that was a great call. That was a great call.
That's a good one, Nathan. Thanks, man. I'll tell you, one of the funny ones we used to always joke around with, I never actually used it, was, well, you know what, that's okay, Nathan. If you don't want to be here, I need someone to wash my car anyway. If everyone's a millionaire with me, no one's going to be there to wash my car.
That's it.
You're tough, Mark.
Yeah.
I never actually used that one. I just heard it before. So anyway, anyone else out there want any good comments? Go right ahead.
Yeah, Mark, I wanted to say something. So many people today, there's so much of an attack on free enterprise that people don't feel like it's okay to make money, which is the most insane thing I've ever seen in my entire life. But one thing that is so catching is your enthusiasm. When I was doing the role play with you, I literally was playing the role. I mean, I get into it. And I just closed my eyes and listened, pretend it was a call from a friend I hadn't talked to in a long time. And you started talking. And my first response, honestly now, because I was in the role, was, oh, I found something exciting. I don't want to hear this, But you continued, and what you were saying interested me, and then it excited me. So if we go through the simple process, your friends, if they have a brain, are going to go through some of the similar things. They might, they're sitting there, like Nathan said, maybe they're sitting there watching Friends and you interrupted and they paused it and, they took the call. Well, I hadn't heard from Mark in a while. How you doing, man? I'm doing good. Look, I know we hadn't visited in a while, but look, I've got a couple of minutes. I wanted to run something by you. I'm headed out the door. I just had to share it with you. I'm so excited about it. And I'm beginning. Even in the first few sentences, I'm beginning to catch a little bit of that excitement and enthusiasm, and I want to hear it. Now, he says I can have a good income on 2 minutes a day. That, if I don't hear that part about we've got a professional trader, one of the top traders, on Wall Street actually doing our trading for us, and we just spend a couple of minutes a day making sure that our signal is there so, he can make our trades for us. Technology fails, so just check it each morning. So all you got to do, that's 2 minutes, and he's doing the work for you. If you get that part, and the details will be on the webinar, I want to see it now. He's got my attention. So excellent job, too, Mark. Thank you.
Oh, no, awesome. That's great feedback, Roger. And realize this is a guy who's made millions in network marketing, people. So whatever Roger writes that, I'm taking notes and writing it all down, and always excited about being able to work with Roger. So, well, with that, guys, what I'd like to do is we'll conclude this training. Everyone have a good one. And what I'd like to do is find out who wants to be in the game. And so if you're serious about it, what I'd like to know is I'd like to see you send me an email at penny_mark@hotmail.com. That's PINNEY_mark@hotmail.com. And tell me what day you're going to have your list done. I'd like to hear that. And then I'd like to see, and talk with you about how to build your team. And let's get this thing kicked off. And whoever sends me that email, I'll work with you directly and we'll get this thing rolling. So with that, guys, thanks for your time. And I look forward to rocking this week with everyone. We got some awesome trades tomorrow and the rest of the week, and let's build this business like there's no tomorrow.
Mark, thank you very much, brother.
Awesome, Mark. Awesome.
Thanks, guys.